At highway speeds, the average text takes your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds. That's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop texts. StopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a successful motivational speaker and trusted life coach, Nancy knows how you can live the life you want regardless of the challenges you face. Although she's legally blind, Nancy's mission is to inspire others to overcome obstacles and live life full out. Call in at 800-333-0001 to ask Nancy for advice on topics such as relationships, finances, business, health, and more. Just call 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show. My name is Nancy Solari, and so excited to be here with you. Today we are going to be talking about positivity. Who doesn't need to be positive, right? Life is this crazy train of experiences. Some are exciting, some are sad, some may make us feel ashamed or guilty, and some just make us feel lost, make us feel hopeless. But the thing is through all of that experience, you have to stay positive. You have to keep your eye on the ball. You have to have a vision for your life and where you want it to go. And our special guest coming up in our next segment, Jacob Atem, he is a perfect example of positivity and really what it takes to keep a strong mindset so you can get through those tough times. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be taking your calls, I should say. The number is 800-333-0001. And, going legally blind for myself, honestly, talk about being positive. Every day when I walk out that door, I just hope I don't trip off a curb or run into a pole or get hit by a car. I know that sounds crazy, but when you're legally blind or blind and you can't see those things, anything is possible. But you have to be positive and have faith that with every step you take, with everything that you do in life, that it's going to work out. If you have passion in your heart, if you are doing what you consider to be the right thing each day, you got to trust yourself that passion, that intuition, that trust that you have for yourself will guide you to where you need to go. And that is where being positive comes in. When you doubt yourself, when you doubt others, when you can't trust, that's when you let the negativity in, and it really breaks up your ability to be positive. So we're going to go to the phone lines now. Welcome to the Living Full Out Show. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, thank you for calling. How can I help you
today?
Thank
you for having me. I do have a question. In my life, I always struggled since I was younger, from perfectionism. If I want to do something, I always want to do it perfectly. So that makes me really, really tired and exhausted because I spend too much effort and time just trying to do things perfectly. And also, when I expect from others, I expect very high expectations, and I expect perfection from others too. And that also makes me very disappointed when I don't get perfection.
Well, let me ask you. Let me ask you a question because I kind of see where you're going here. Has there ever been a time in your life when you tried something and it didn't go quite the way you thought, but then when our backs are against the wall, when we do something wrong and we have to ask for forgiveness, when we lose touch with somebody and we are the bigger person and we reach out to them, we put the olive branch out there, those are character building moments. So if you always put yourself at a place where you have to be perfect, you're going to lose out on those learning lessons of life. Mm-hmm. And on the flip side, you don't want to take those experiences away from other people either. If you put on other people that they have to be perfect, that they have no wiggle room to make a mistake and to learn something new, that they have no wiggle room to fail and switch and change direction in life, then you take that experience away from them as well. Do you see that?
I see it now, yes.
Yeah, so what you want to do is just let life wash over you. You know, it's like you're in the ocean. You know, some waves are bigger, some waves are smaller, and the big ones seem intimidating. The smaller ones, you're like, I got this. Let life wash over you. That's the excitement of life. If it's all predictable, if it's all planned out, what fun is that? The game of life is meant to be lived, not meant to be planned. Okay? So I want you to open your eyes bigger today than they've ever been. Let yourself make a mistake. You know, go get an ice cream cone and let it drip down the cone and make it all mess. Don't be perfect on it. Okay? Let somebody today say something just silly and you're like, oh, I wouldn't have said that. But don't stop them. Let them just ramble. Okay? Let people live and let yourself live full out. Okay?
Sure.
But
I like
thank
what
you.
I'm hearing.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Well, I'm giving you a big hug through the phone. Okay.
Thank you.
And I know you're going to go out there today and make a difference in someone's life. So thank you for
so
calling
much.
in. You got it.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye. What a great question, right? I mean, we're all on this journey together. We can't control life. We try. I try. I know I definitely try. But we can't control life. We have to let it unfold, and that's part of the gift. We're going to go back to the phone lines now. Welcome to the Living Full Out Show. Hello, welcome.
Great to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. What's going on today?
Oh, there's just so much on my plate. Where do I begin? Well, to start, I feel like completely misunderstood by my peers, my friends especially, and some of the people that I consider closest to me. I feel like I've lost my connection with them.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you think you feel misunderstood? Why?
I don't know. It's just lately, every time I open my mouth, I feel like everybody I'm with seems to just sort of get uncomfortable or flatline the whole room. And I don't know what it could possibly be. I just sort of feel like maybe I'm not being myself or something's off, but it's got me all messed up.
Well, first of all, I'm so sorry to know that you're feeling that way, because that is a burden. It's hard when we feel we have to censor what we say because we need to be politically correct, or we're on eggshells, or it is frustrating to be misunderstood.
Totally.
Here's my thought on this. In communication, in having dialogue with anybody, you do have to understand your audience. Okay? So, for example, in your life, there may be some people you go to when you need to be emotionally engaged. You know, there's some people in your life that are going to be better listeners, more nurturing, more loving. There's some people in your life that are going to be the people that you go to when you need a good laugh. Please, let's not talk about anything heavy. Take me somewhere other than that. And then there's going to be the technology smart people. There's going to be the people that, you know, so the thing is everybody in your life has a different role. So you can't necessarily have the same conversation with each of those people and expect the same result. So first of all, consider your audience. Secondly, consider your delivery. You know, some people love to be on the phone. Others hate it. Some people want face-to-face time, want to go to a coffee shop, sit there for hours and have coffee and chat it out. Others, they don't want to do that. You know, think of the people in your life and think about what is the best style of communication to communicate with them on. And then my third piece of advice for you is you have to trust yourself a little bit more. So what I mean by that is there's something occurring right now in you where you feel misunderstood, where you feel like people are judging you. And for all we know, they are judging you. But what if they're not? What if they just have something in their eye? What if they're hungover? What if they're having a bad day?
That could be. These guys could definitely be hungover.
What if they're just stressed out themselves? So sometimes you might look at their face, their body language, and think, oh my God, like whatever I'm saying is turning them off, when really that has nothing to do with what you're saying. Nothing at all. In fact, they may be halfway hearing you and halfway thinking about their exam or their work or their whatever. So you have to trust yourself that who you are is naturally who you're meant to be, and what you're saying is what you're supposed to be saying. If these people really, really didn't like you, didn't respect you, didn't want to be your friend, they would not be in your life. They would not even be talking to you. So I think you got to trust yourself more, and you got to trust them more. And if you can do that, I think you'll find that you are heard, that you are understood.
I think you might be right.
Scary sometimes. But you know what? I'm not right. I'm not right. You're the one that got it, and now you're right. Everything that you're saying is right. Don't doubt what you're saying. Don't doubt your friendships. It's all good. Just release that burden. It doesn't need to be there. So I want to thank you for calling in, because we got to go to a break, unfortunately, but I'm going to be thinking of you today, and go out there and communicate. Okay. Thank you for calling in. Have a good day.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for everything.
Bye-bye. Everybody will be coming right back with our special guest, Jacob Atem. We'll be back.
Hey, what's up? Thinking about you. XOXOXO. Want to snuggle. ... JK. Hit me back. You getting these texts? ? We should hang later. I miss you. Holla at ya, boy. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you at home? Where are you? What are you doing? OMG. You are making me mad. Are you with your ex? You better text me back. I'm waiting outside your house.
Relentless, aggressive texting is like sending an angry robot to deliver your message. When does the robot become dangerous? Let us know at that'snotcool.com.
That'snotcool.com.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Ferry residents, this is Tooth speaking. I'm sorry, did you say credit? Credit Ferry? Perhaps you have the wrong number. Actually, no, I'm not familiar with the Credit Ferry, and I know all the ferries. We're a tight-knit bunch. Why don't you tell me more about what the Credit Ferry does? Maybe it'll ring a bell. The Credit Ferry magically raises your credit score so you'll be more likely to receive better interest rates? I'm pretty sure there's not a Credit Ferry. But I do know you can improve your credit rating by paying bills on time and keeping your credit card balances low. Glad I could help. Me? Well, I leave money under children's pillows. Adults? No, kids only. But I do know a good dentist.
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there is help, and it's free. Go to creditferry.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the Consumer Bankers Foundation, the Leadership Conference on Civil Rights Education Fund, and the Ad Council.
I want to change some things. I want the moms where I live to have childcare they can trust.
I want to make sure my little brother and his friends have a safe place to play.
I want to help more kids graduate from high school.
Help more hardworking families learn how to budget and save.
I want more of my neighbors to have access to health care.
Want to make a difference? There are so many ways you can. Help create opportunities for everyone in your community.
I want to change what I see around here.
United Way is creating real, lasting change where you live by focusing on the building blocks of a better life: education, income, and health.
I mean, I just want to see more smiles on my sidewalks.
Reach out a hand to one and influence the condition of all. Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. For more, visit United Way at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a trusted life coach, Nancy will help you overcome setbacks and embrace all life has to offer. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and today we are talking about positivity and the need to be positive, the need to be strong and have a vision for our life and trust in that vision. Now, our next guest, our inspirational guest today, Jacob Atem, is somebody who didn't just need to have positivity. He really had to hold on to his faith. He had to hold on to the vision of hoping that he would be free, that he would eventually have a life that he could laugh and live and love. And the reason why I say that to you is because he went through the struggles of being an orphan due to the South Sudanese Civil War and being a refugee and just overall being a lost boy in for years. And he's going to share his story with us of how he got through that and how today he's truly living his dream. So I'd like to welcome Jacob Atem. Welcome, Jacob.
Thank you, Nancy.
Hi.
Thank you.
I have been thinking of you all morning because we're going to get into your story in a second, and everybody put on your seatbelts. It's a big one. But, you know, I love America. I love our country. And our viewers, our listeners here are going to understand shortly just how much you have been given and how much you've really taken the opportunity of freedom and choice and made the most of it. So everybody stay with us because, again, not only is Jacob positive, but wow, does he really take advantage of every opportunity in a positive way. So, Jacob, if you could take our listeners back, let's go back to the day that you were 6 years old when just all of this chaos occurred in your village.
Thank you, Nancy. Yes, I was 6 years old. I live in a small village called Mar. And when the attack happened, I was really young, 6 or 7 years old, looking after the calf, little cow. And that's when the attack happened. And unfortunately, I never seen my home, and eventually learning that I lost my parents. And from that point on is where many of the boys start hiding in the bush for 1 day to 2 days to 3 days to weeks to months later, as we will proceed to Ethiopia and then later to even America, where I've been away for 23 years. That day was, yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, that day you didn't know right away that you had lost your family, and I think one of your sisters actually, you know, went into slavery, and she's probably still in that situation today. You know, when you become a refugee, when you're scared for your life because people are trying to kill you, you know, obviously you're trying to escape to somewhere else. For you, that was Ethiopia. As I know you were only 6 years old. But what did you do at that age? How did you stay positive? How did you keep walking for hours and hours every day?
Well, we the boys stick together. My cousin really carried me, and also walking was not that easy. There are so many things that we are worried about, Nancy. That is, the enemy is coming with their weapon and their tanks and their gun, and then starvation. We didn't have any food. So try to find something to eat. And at that time, the United Nations is nowhere to be found. So at this point, we are literally not even a refugee. We're just wandering in the wilderness. But again, it was not an easy walk. It took us estimated 5 months to walk from where we were to Ethiopia. So it's not a one-day thing. And the terrain, you know, over the mountain, over the hill, where sometimes you don't have water, and so you have to rely on your urine. You have to rely on the dirty water that you can find. So it's not a matter of clean. And so that walk alone has killed a lot of people because we were so young. The youngest was from 5, and then the oldest was about 15. So the older one were the one really taking care of us. And this is a journey between my village to Ethiopia, and then, so it was a tough journey.
How many people started on the journey, and how many actually made it?
So it's estimated we start out with 27,000, Nancy, and by the time we go from South Sudan to Ethiopia, and then from Ethiopia to South Sudan, and then we eventually came to northern Kenya, it was estimated that number was cut down from 27,000 to between 12 to 14,000. And now, I'm not a mathematician. A lot of people died of that. Of course, these people were not just die because of the gun wound, but the conditions that I've told you, a lot of diseases such as measles and whooping cough and other communicable diseases that had outbreak actually killed us because there was no medical access. And then starvation. And those people who couldn't make it, and those people when we are running, there's issues of wild animals also. And then there's a famous one river called River Gillo. Most Lost Boys will refer to that, where estimated a lot of casualties happened there, about 2,000, Nancy, because most boys didn't know how to swim. And the boys are being shot in both sides of the Ethiopia border, and then at the end of the South Sudan border. At the same time, the river is flowing. At the same time, the river is infested with crocodiles, and so that's why there was a lot of casualties in that. And then once you cross to South Sudan, you have to do the recycling and walking another 4 to 5 months to a refugee camp in Kenya, and you can see. It's a cycle of starvation, lack of food, walking, being bombed on the ground, aerosol, and then also the military is also following you. Until now, the positive news I want to also point out, Nancy, is once we made it to Ethiopia or once we make it to Kenya, it's a sovereign nation, so the enemy, the Arab militia in the north, cannot attack us. That's the good news. The bad news is the living condition that we didn't have food, and we rely on the United Nations. We don't have any food.
Now you bring up a good point. You're right. It's positive that they can't follow you into that sovereign nation. The heartbreaking part of your story is that when you left Sudan and went to Ethiopia, you thought you could stay there, but then you got kicked out of Ethiopia, so you had to go back into the fighting territory to get to Kenya. So that is how during that time, how did you stay positive? I mean, so many people, and I know you're young, but you're getting older as you go along. Well, as you're walking, how do you not ask yourself, why me?
That answer that question did happen, and I will say, Lost Boy, we grew up as a family members, and we grew up to be strong. And unfortunately, I had to grow up to be an adult overnight because crying about it, seeing people dying, it became a second nature. It's not surprise anymore. We were traumatized. But what kept us is our faith. Once we reach Ethiopia and Kenya, we start worshiping God often than I think. And Nancy, I don't know how to describe it. It's a faith that I guess when you are left with nothing and you don't trust human being anymore, that relationship with God really play out into our life. And that question of, actually, there's a movie called God Grew Tired of Us by one of my friends, but we thought God didn't really. That question you say, why me? Why was I born in South Sudan to be in this hard condition? Why was I not born in America where I'm having freedom? But those questions were a tough question that we went through to the point that we realized the only person that keeps us alive is God. I know it's a hard concept, but our faith is what really got us together. And we stick as a family. We worship. When there's a tragedy, we cry. When there's joy, we laugh. And because crying, like I say, crying about the tragedy happened, it's not going to bring back my parents. It's not going to bring $2.5 million. And that's what I said. It's hard to look forward, and I would never dream to see another day when you see your best friend and your friend dropping dead, and you're like, okay, maybe it's my turn tomorrow. and here I am still talking to you today. So it's a grace of God, to just put it that way.
You know what, Jacob, your story is one that most people only see in movies. And yours is one that most people take for granted, the food, the toilets, the shelter that we have. And first of all, I want you to know that I'm so proud of who you've become today. And we're going to be taking a break here. But when we come back, everybody, we're going to be talking about when Jacob did get to Kenya. And that was really the turning point for him. So, Jacob, if you can stay with me, when we come back, we'll pick up on your journey there. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. So, everybody, this is the Living Full Out Show. We're with Jacob Atem, and we'll be right back after this break.
Ahoy there, matey. How's the fishing this morning?
Shh! You'll scare the fish!
Oh, nonsense. Fishies love the safety pirate. Now tell me, I see you're wearing your life jacket, and that's mighty smart of you. But have you taken a boating safety course?
I have. Now, could you please leave?
So you know to stay alert by not mixing alcohol and boating, don't you?
I do.
But I bet you didn't know it's dangerous to speed on the water. Now did you, Turbo?
Actually, I knew that.
Well, smarty pants. You seem to know it all, don't you?
Yep. Maybe even more than a safety pirate.
Watch your mouth, sailor!
When you're out on the water this year, make sure you're being safe. Learn the boating rules and watch out for other boaters.
And remember to boat smart. Boat safe.
A message from the National Safe Boating Council.
I want to change some things. I want the moms where I live to have childcare they can trust.
I want to make sure my little brother and his friends have a safe place to play.
I want to help more kids graduate from high school.
Help more hardworking families learn how to budget and save.
I want more of my neighbors to have access to health care.
Want to make a difference? There are so many ways you can. Help create opportunities for everyone in your community.
I want to change what I see around here.
United Way is creating real, lasting change where you live by focusing on the building blocks of a better life: education, income, and health.
I just want to see more smiles on my sidewalks.
Reach out a hand to one and influence the condition of all. Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. For more, visit United Way at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a trusted life coach, Nancy will help you overcome setbacks and embrace all life has to offer. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Nancy Solari and the Living Full Out Show. And we're talking about positivity today, and we're going to be continuing our interview here with our inspirational guest, Jacob Atem. He's sharing with us his journey. After the South Sudan Civil War, he became an orphan, and he's sharing with us his journey from Sudan to Ethiopia, back to over to Kenya, and all that he had to go through, the survival skills that he had to retain, and just the will and positivity to survive. And so, Jacob, I want to welcome you back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. So, when you finally get to Kenya, share with us the turning point at that point. You know, that is when you got good news, finally good news. But can you share with us about that?
Yeah, so we came to Kakuma refugee camp, and the good news is the enemy cannot no longer attack us. Of course, the other bad news is you are in a refugee camp. It's like a prison where you depend on the United Nations food ration. And then another good news is we start to learn ABC, the education. That's where I started my education at. And so from that point, the living conditions were still rough because, again, we don't have enough food to eat. But until 1998, when the American government decided that these boys, lost boys, and some lost girls had suffered enough, they start the process of resettlement, the U.S. Resettlement process. And from 1998, they did our story until when they did the interview, and most lost boys start coming early 2000 to America. And so that was a turning point from education, and then from there to be migrated to the United States of America.
So that's an amazing piece of good news. I mean, it was funny when you shared with me at one time, though, that the only America you knew was in the movies. And did that scare you about America? What vision of America did you have?
You know, Nancy, what was amazing? So I came as under foster care. I was a ward of the state in Michigan through Lutheran Social Services of Michigan. So they actually, before coming to America, what has happened is they teach us about America, what America looked like. Show us ICE, show us Hollywood, and we only knew few cities like New York, Detroit, like the biggest cities. And you know, we really believe what was in the movie, you know, like Rambo and all the other movies that were there. But that was not the case. Unfortunately, when we came here, America we found was more generous and have different positive things than the thing that the social media or I don't want to mention Hollywood, but the thing we see in the movies, people really over there think that is America, but that's completely different.
So America,
I've been here for 15 years.
So America wasn't just the tough streets, people killing each other, car chases, this and that. It was small towns, people generous, and you were in the foster system for some time until you finally connected with a family that really became your home. Share with us about them.
Yeah, let me describe America also to us as the lost boy. We used to thought America is a second heaven, okay? Because what America, we always envisioned to work hard. And once I came here in a foster care, of course, the language was so difficult. I had to start learning English through news media like Peter Jennings and Tom Brokaw. But the foster family that I got was very nice, a small village, and that for the first time in history, now I was able to go into a proper institution of high school, and I have a foster mom that could at least cook and have 3 times a hot meal a day. And then after that, I ended up graduating and from high school to college, and to the point that I would mention later, where I co-founded an organization to give back to the community. And to now, I am a PhD candidate. But, Nancy, what is unique with the Lost Boys? If you find the Lost Boys, America has really, truly blessed us. You will find Lost Boys are the captains in the Army. You will find the Lost Boys. This is a story that the media don't know about, because in 2001, they said Lost Boys. But what I'm excited about you interview me is that we are no longer the boys, but we are the people who are educated now, who have families, who are giving back through military, who are giving back. I have a friend who are working for the State Department. So what America has done for us is taking this tragic story and give us a chance. They give us a chance, and then it's up to us, the Lost Boys, to figure out what do we do with this chance. And we couldn't thank people enough, Nancy. This chance is what we dream for. We could be anything we want to now, but it just needs that chance to be brought from the camp, refugee camp, to America. And that was a great help.
You know what? Thank you for saying that. And that just really kind of brings everything just right up to the forefront, because that's really what America stands for. That's what we strive to be, is that home for so many. And you know, the journey to America gave you that freedom, gave you that opportunity. And when you look back at your life, obviously all the danger, all the starvation and everything else, would you have done it differently if you could?
I wouldn't regret anything. I wouldn't regret anything, even just coming to America. The only thing that we miss out is what does it mean to have a parent and have a parenting, that aspect. And let me give you this example. I have my son now, and there's no book for parenting. So if we were orphaned early on, there's something about dad and mom that they give you the valuable lesson of the world, okay? Yes, that's the only thing we miss. But, Nancy, sometimes the tragic story could be turned positive. We want people, American, to learn from us that, look, as much as it's sad, there's a brighter future. There's a smile. Because when we came to this country, we didn't have parents. When people have celebration of 4th of July, it would be nice to be having with your dad and your mom, but we cannot cry. We cannot bring them back. But what can we do is to embrace the diversity in America. Do you know how many times people call me, I have many mothers from different backgrounds, because my foster mom is my mother. Whoever is nurturing me is my mother, and whoever is giving me advice is my father. So we embrace diversity and appreciate the people in your life, particularly in this society, that have given us a second chance. And they've been really great filling in that gap we missed early on as children.
Well, and it's interesting. Today we're talking about positivity, and you've mentioned it several times that, this opportunity allowed you to have a positive outlook on life, and really you took that opportunity and you ran with it. That's why you are so successful today. But for our listeners who are listening today, and maybe they haven't gone through the story that you have, but maybe they've grown up with abuse at the hands of an adult, maybe a parent, maybe they have, been homeless, maybe, they're struggling with, trying to find out who they are in their life, just like you had to find out who you were. What would you say to them in terms of being positive and not giving up?
Wow. What I would say, Nancy, I always go to prison and share my testimony. What I would say is each of us has a story, and each story is unique as mine. It doesn't have to come from Africa. It's on our background here where we have those stories to embrace, okay? If I could do it, I was telling a student yesterday, if I go and work hard to be a PhD candidate, I had no doubt the privilege we have here, you can. I'm not saying they're not struggling, but there are additional resources that are here that we didn't have. For example, Nancy, as much as it's hard in America, I ask people, when was the last time you just go and drink your own urine just for the sake of fun? And they say, no, that's disgusting, okay? That is something positive. We have clean water that we can simply be grateful and thankful. We have freedom. We have men and women who are defending us, our freedom, and we are sitting here for free, for the freedom that we enjoy. We didn't have that when the enemy is chasing us, Now, if you compare what is worse to what is worse, at least at the end of the day, they should be saying, you know what, I'm in a terrible situation, but at least I was not Lost Boys who has walked over 2,000 miles, I have a car that may not be a BMW, but it is taking me from point A to point B. So it's just comparing the difficulty. Yes, we all struggle, but the difficulty of struggle is all relative, if that makes sense. And in America,
well,
yeah, in America they can do it. I believe we have resources that this country could give us. We just need to encourage one another and learn from each other stories.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're a perfect demonstration of that today. I want to thank you so much, Jacob, for coming on. And so people can cheer you on in terms of your efforts. Can you give out your website for people?
Thank you so much. My website is www.sshco.org. So it's sshco.org. And it stands for Southern Sudan Healthcare Organization.
Yeah,
yes.
and the reason, Jacob, why I wanted to make sure you got that out is because everybody listening, when you can give, even if it's, time, money, just even prayers, that's what you want to give. So, Jacob, I want to thank you so much for being on our show today, and you just keep being that positive light in the world, because you're better. We're better off with you in it, for sure. And thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you so much. And everybody will be coming right back again, taking your calls. And again, this is the Living Full Out Show. Thank you so much, Jacob Atem, and we'll be right back.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
You remember that ball game we went to a couple years ago?
Sure.
And how you didn't have enough cash for 2 hot dogs, so you walked with me on your shoulders until we found an ATM? And then when we got back to our seats, we never saw the hot dog guy again.
Well, I don't remember all that.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
You never know which moments will be the ones they'll remember forever, so take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Medical mistakes claim tens of thousands of lives every year. The healthcare community is working on it, but you can help. When you communicate with your doctor, when you ask more questions, you reduce your risk of suffering a medical mistake. Doctors can't answer if you don't ask. Help reduce your risk. Questions are the answer. Learn the 10 questions you must ask. Visit www.ahrq.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, and the Ad Council.
I'm getting a catcher's mitt.
I'm getting ice skates. I'm getting a devastating flood.
Adults are generous. We're even giving kids global warming, but we can still reduce greenhouse gas pollution. Go to fightglobalwarming.com. Brought to you by Environmental Defense, the Robertson Foundation, and the Ad Council.
There are many sounds in your daily life. Ones that make you smile. Ones that help you relax. And there are some sounds that can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you critical information about emergencies in your area. With updates from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know wherever you are. Learn more at ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Have you ever lost a cat? And have you ever wanted to get your cat back after you lost it? I'm Andrew Hoffman. I invented the Lost Cat Magnet. Just turn it on, and lost cats stick to it. Just listen to one satisfied cat. That's proof. You should invent stuff too. But remember, don't do a lost cat magnet.
Anything's possible. Keep thinking. Get started on your own inventions or just play some games at inventnow.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, the National Inventors Hall of Fame Foundation, and the Ad Council.
To live full out is to be positive. It's to look at all aspects of your life and have purpose for your life. Know that everything that you do, the good, the bad, the times that you succeed, the times that you fail, they're all ones that you should be proud of. They're all ones that you should be positive about for the journey that you're on. You also want to make sure that you have gratitude every day for the life that you are living. Here's to you staying positive each and every day.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a certified life coach, Nancy can help you to overcome challenges and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Okay, here we are, final segment of the show, and we're taking your calls, 800-333-0001, and we're talking about positivity and just what's required so that we don't get lost along the way of life. You know, we don't, when we're in the trenches of life, when we're going through the fire, when those curveballs are coming at us right and left, you want to stay positive. You want to keep your eye on the ball. You want to make sure that you always remember that the journey of life is going to come with those moments, and you're prepared for them. You're like, I know they're coming. I'm ready. You want to value your life. You want to have fun. One of the things that I notice a lot with this show and the people that call in, or, you know, even my coaching clients that I work with each week, is that it's just part of human nature sometimes for us to second guess ourselves, to sometimes have moments where we're hopeless, where we're concerned, where we're afraid. And that's just natural. So if you're dealing with something that's heavy on your heart, or if you find that you can't sleep at night, it isn't because these circumstances have control over your life. It isn't because you don't have the ability to get yourself to a better place. It just means that you have to take a breath. You have to seek resources that will allow you to get to where you want to go. It's kind of like troubleshooting and being a detective. When you want to get somewhere, you just got to consider your choices. And if the choices are not obvious, then you want to turn to the people that can give you options. Maybe that's a family member, a friend, or even a stranger. You know, there's a lot of coaches, a lot of therapists, a lot of counseling centers, rehab centers, you name it, that are here to support you, here to help you with your goals. But it's important to stay positive. You know, have a strong mindset, because you're going to need that each and every day as you journey through your life. We're going to go to the phone lines now. Welcome to the Living Full Out Show. Hello,
thank
welcome.
you.
Hi. So
Hi.
tell me, what's going on today?
I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
The question I have is, how soon after...
Wake up, someone who passes away, there's the grieving stages, right? There's anger, sadness, hopelessness, you name it. Do you feel like you've gone through those grief stages?
I believe, to be in all honesty, I believe I have.
Okay. And when you get to the place where you can bring closure to that relationship, then you are ready to move on. And one of the things that you want to try to do more than anything else is, like I said, bring closure to it. So this new relationship that you will start, and you might meet someone right away. It might be another couple years before you find that right person, because chemistry is not every corner, but there's great people out there. I believe that we have more than one love in this lifetime. So it's just finding that person that you can run with. But when you find that person, yeah, but when you find that person, you do want to talk about your past, because that you do want to talk about your past only in the way that you probably learned things about yourself over those 30 years, right?
Yes, I
right?
did.
And for whoever that person was that you divorced, the good and the bad, I bet you have a better idea now of the qualities in a person that you want going forward, right?
Oh, yes, most definitely, yes.
Okay, but you only get that understanding by being vulnerable with that new person, by sharing with them what you've learned. So it isn't like you're going to go to that person and talk badly about your ex. It isn't that you have to tell them every detail of the story and, spend countless dinners talking about your past. But you do want to be vulnerable and share with them about what you learned, because that's what's going to let that person in. Because unfortunately, in life, whenever we have a life experience, and especially a relationship of 30 years, and whatever happened in that relationship, you did develop along the way triggers. There's going to be something that that new future partner might say that they don't even know that they're saying, but it might make your skin crawl because it reminds you of the past. It might be a song that you hear that makes you sad. It might be a certain day of the year, which used to be an anniversary. So sometimes you can't completely erase your past, because that other person to be to give that relationship the best shot, you have to, when those moments come up, you have to be able to be vulnerable with them. Does that make sense?
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Good.
I am so grateful. I'm just in awe. Thank you.
Well, good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And when you can do that, when you can let yourself be vulnerable and you put closure to the past and you can talk about those things more from the place of what you've learned, not from a sad place of what you've lost, now you're ready to jump into the next relationship.
Great. Oh, my good. I know where to go from here.
Good.
Thank you so much.
My goodness, that next person, they better watch out. They don't know the powerhouse that's coming towards them, huh?
Yes.
Watch out.
Yes.
Well, listen, you are more than ready. You are more than ready, and just be that vulnerable, loving person that you are, that courageous spirit who didn't just have a love that didn't work out, but you rallied again. And, that to me means that love is definitely going to come your way again. Okay?
Thank you so very, very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Have a good rest of your Saturday, okay?
And I will. I most certainly will. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. I love her energy. Don't you just love that? The thing is to be positive means that you're willing to look at life a little differently than you may have before. And so for her, I'm so glad that she got a lot out of that, because I promise her that she's a different woman now than she used to be. And that's beautiful. The thing is, in life, we're meant to evolve. We're meant to change. I consider the people in my life, every year we have different people that flow in and out of the Living Full Out team, the Living Full Out office. And one of the things I love is the different spirits, the different attitudes, the different lessons that we all learn together. Even when I look at my family and I look at the changes that occur for everybody there, I look at who stays in the place of stuck and who chooses to be positive. It's really interesting. I want you today, whether it be today, literally, or over the weekend or over the course of the week, when you're having conversations with people, look to see who is positive and look to see the transitions that take them from a negative thought to a positive thought. Listen to hear how they naturally get themselves out of being stuck. And then you're going to listen to other people who might complain about something and watch how they can't release themselves from that pain. The more that you can observe life, the more that you can learn from those around you, the more that you will be able to allow to get yourself into that positive place. Sometimes the people around us are our best teachers. There's a lot of times that I'll be talking to people and they'll be like, oh, Nancy, you're so positive. And I'll go, well, that would be really weird if I wasn't, right? Because I'm a motivational speaker and a coach. But trust me, I do have difficult moments. I have moments too where I doubt, I have fear. And so when I get in those moments, when I get in those times of being scared, just like Jacob Atem told us in his interview, you have to have faith. Now, even if faith isn't of a spiritual, religious faith, you want to have at least, if it's not faith, you want to be able to value your process. You want to trust yourself. And that will allow you to stay positive. We get negative when we feel hopeless. We get negative when we're stuck in being frustrated and we feel like there's no options. But when you know that you have faith, and when you know that if you just hang in there, one day has to end and the next day has to begin, right? The dramas don't always go forward into the next day. When you can be positive and look forward, that's when you can get yourself out of being stuck. I want to thank everybody today who put together this show here in the studio today. We have Maya and Travis and Mindy and Rich and everybody also behind the scenes that puts the show together. It's really important for you all to know that we are here each week to support you. We want you to reach out to us as well. If you were inspired by today's show, reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. And if you have a story that you would like to share, just like Jacob Atem, we find our best interviews by you guys writing in we love to hear your story. We'd love to have you on the show. So again, reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. If you want to watch our past episodes, you can go to livingfullout.com/radio show and just click on any of the past shows. You can even listen to the show live there or the recording of this show after today. And most of all, as we kind of close up here today, I know positivity is, or positive, whatever you want to say it, is sometimes a word that just gets, flung out there. It's one that sometimes can just go over our heads. But I want you to really hold on to that word today. I really want you to hold on to the word positive and say, I'm going to be positive all day today. I'm going to be positive. It's a choice. So make that choice. Be positive. Even when those curveballs come at you, say to yourself, nope, you're not going to throw me out my path. I'm going to stay positive. You have the power. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll be back next week. Have a wonderful day, and here's to you living your life full out.